and it will be useful for them to have video presentation. They know what we're talking about. You can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Today, oh, you
Hello,
see my
guys.
screen?
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I'm in a hospital. Okay, sorry. With my husband. Okay. I can't do it the class today.
Okay.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
We
But
can
please,
talking
Professor,
about.
Please, Professor,
Today,
can you add
the
me?
task.
Can you add me on the course, please, to see all the things what will take with you, please. If you can add me. يعني
I told Elsie to Professor. Also, Rasha told Professor. I don't know if you do or not.
Can I help? Where we have the problem?
That Elsie is not hard in the course, and so Professor Dopsai have to insert her on the.
Okay, course. I can make it the same.
Ah, okay. So.
But if the Professor Dopsai insert her, it means that she is in the group.
No, because now I called her.
Okay.
Well,
she's not in the group.
What is the name of the? I must put it.
Elsie Brale.
A.
Elsie.
ELSY.
Yes.
Yes, I found.
FE.
And I add.
Yeah. Brale. FGH.
I hope it's work now.
رشا أنا بعدني بالأوبيتال أوكي حتى تاني ماتيار ما رح أقدر أكون فيها أوكي.
And we have Elsie with us. Okay. We can start.
I will be in class on Monday. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm in hospital with my husband. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for your calling.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you, Professor. Bye bye. Thank you, Andrew.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Merci, Rasha. Bye. For today, we have a task to discussing about the recommendation of physical activity. If you want to recommend to someone, we must have some detail about the person, and we must make some measure of some ability, and after that try to make some models, and we try to talking about that. Basically, we can use the battery of EUROFIT test. Did you have any experience with that? Do you make EUROFIT battery test?
No, I never do.
Mm-hmm.
Neither.
They make that 25 years ago. It was one step to try to share the Europe, to be together and to make possibility to compare, because in different country you have different model of testing and different model of measuring, and they established that you have a battery of EUROFIT test for children, and this battery is specialized for adults. And you can see for the beginning we have one short questionnaire, something like IPAC, International Physical Activity Questionnaire. We collecting the basic data about the physical activity in transport, on the during the job, and physical activity in the free time. And all of that questionnaire is make on that way that you can calculate how many calories the people burn for the usual daily activity. and according to that, we organizing the test. For the test, we looking the basic data about the people, body height, body weight, and we can calculate body mass index. And after that, we can make the body mass index. You know to recognize the measure of body mass index. If we have body mass index 28, what does it mean? Is that normal? Is that overweight? Is that under the weight?
It's a difference between men and women. I think 25 is normal, and 25 to 30 overweight. Over 30 obesity.
Yes, it is correct. But when we analyze the body mass index, we don't make difference between female and male. But when we have 28, it means that is
overweight.
Is that strict overweight all the time?
28, yes. Even for
sometimes you have some athletes can have the body mass index 30, 31, 32, and still don't be overweight because he have a lot of muscle, don't have too much fat. And is the reason why we need that waist circumference and hip circumference. Because if we have the biggest, if we need bigger waist than hip, it means that we can talk about the overweight person. If the index is less than 1, it means that the hip is bigger than waist. In that way, we can talk that we have some athletes in front of us. Because index means put the waist across the hip. If it's more than 1, it means that is overweight. If the less, it means it's some sort of athletes. In EUROFIT test, they make the different way of taking percentage of fatness. They calculate the skin folds on the 4 place, biceps, triceps, and we can see that it will be, you can see, when you take caliper and measure on the 4 place on the body, you have 4 data, and they make the process on that way, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and you have something in the millimeters, and after that you're looking in the table for the male and the female according to the age. According to the age and gender, you can looking in the table how many percentage of the fatness some person had. And according to that, we can, when we have the basic data, we can measure for 5 different area: aerobic fitness, muscle strength, flexibility, balance, and muscle fitness. And we can look in the test. For aerobic, we will talking very detailed about that. They offer 3 different tests. You can use whatever you want. It can be 2-kilometer walking test. It can be PVC aerobic endurance on cycloergometer, or shuttle run test, multi-level progressive return loads running. We will see how it's going. And to the muscle strength and endurance, it is a few tests. First of that is for the stomach. 3 different way of the test for the stomach. Or if you have some younger, you can lose the last position and measure how many they make for the 30 seconds.
when we talk about the flexibility, they offer free possibility to the sit and reach, shoulder abduction, and side bend of the trunk. If you make that side bend of the trunk, you stay near to wall. We measure where will the finger on the legs, and after we go on the side and measure how is difference in one side and difference in the other sides. In the second test, you can measure the shoulder abduction, how is possibility of to rise up the hands, and you can see on the hands they measure the angle of that movement. And from the sit and reach, do you have any experience with sit and reach? Do you try something like that?
No, but I tried like FMS test.
Mm-hmm.
You know, functional movement screening.
Mm-hmm. For sit and reach, the measurements start practical 20 centimeter before. When you have result 20, it means you touch the ground, and after that it is go in the positive way. But we measure in the centimeter and put in the table results in the centimeters. For children, they stay and go in front position down. But for the elder, because the trunk is bigger and can produce the problem on the backside, they change the test and organize on that way, sitting position and going to the reach in the front side. For the balance, it is different than for the children. Children usually stay on the small bar and try to change the balance to save the balance, and they also put the leg on a different position in the balance. On that position, we counting like in basketball. We measure active time in the balance and how many mistakes they make for the 30 seconds. It can make mistake if he open the eyes, if the change the position of the basic leg, or make some other mistake. It's possible to going to the left and right. That is not mistake. Whatever. If you have the same position, it's correct. If you have make any mistake, they stop the stopwatch, and you have a time to make again the same position. You can see it is without the shoes. They stay on the flat and counting the mistake during the 30 seconds. And for the muscle fitness, they offer 4 different tests. One is reorganization of motoric stereotype. They must touch left and right. It's around 60 centimeter difference, and usually start in that position in cross. And when they make 25 cycles in the hand taping, we measuring the time. For vertical jump, we counting how many centimeters they go up, because we have the line with centimeters. For bent arm hang, all the time must be upper than bar. And for the hand grip, they usually use the stronger's hand, and we read how many they produce the power. But we all the time when we try to discussing about that, we don't discussing about the absolute. We all the time divide that with the body mass, because that is with some you can have a situation that a few of them make the same 35
measuring on the strength, but that is not the same. It depends from the body mass, how is he's really have a muscle fitness. Can we continue? Yes. To the
yes.
Yes, to the other presentation. We continue to talk basically to a general problem. Why we make some of that? When we talking about the problem, generally problem starting because the people is not physical active, and we can give the proof for that. What's really happened with our civilization? We use the new technology, and according to some investigation from the Russian investigator, we have we can talk in the 200 years ago in the process of working, during the working time, during the day activity, usually for any sort of productive, we use our muscle of the man or muscle of the animals we use to make something. It's 95% for in production was the energy from the muscle. Our civilization, you'll use energy of the water, energy of the fire, or energy of the wind, only 5%. When the start of the Industrial Revolution, we counting that the steam engine, it is 1848 when they established that. And after that, we use the different sort of energy, or if we lose the oil, we lose the steam engine, diesel, gas, electrical energy. And for the 100 year, we complete reverse situation. Nowadays, we can use the atomic energy, energy of the sun, energy of the high tide, of the biogas, and the other sort of energy now is dominate. 99% of energy in the process of working process is energy from the atomic steam, sun, biogas, or only 1% of that energy it is from our muscle. And it's caused because we try to make the progress, but progress give to us a new situation, a new challenge. In that challenge, when we using the new technology, we changing our life. And the problem is because the people is not enough physical active, we can recognize that today's children are the first generation to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. And according to that, we have a lot of international activity and organization. And according to that, and the other reason, Europe made decision 10 years ago to try to helping the people to be more physical active. You can see the data, how it's happened and what's happened really. From the 1965 to the 2009, 32% of the USA population less his physical activity. In the next 10 years, it will be next 15% because we have new technology. We have a new possibility for working, and we don't use our muscle, we don't physical active. And according to that, we have a lot of problems. When we look in that data, you can find the very different possibility to try to explanation. But some of us recognize it will be the good time for the fitness industry, because in the free time after the job, that is growing the part of physical activity in organizing system.
It means it will be good time for the physical fitness activity and for the fitness industry. But at the same time, the problem of the physical inactivity, because the rising up the mortality, rising up 3.5 times, we have more problem with cardiovascular function. Some sort of cancer is triple if you don't not enough physical activity. And according to that, we can looking the data. They try to following what happened with the people when they have more physical activity. You can see from that data. It is the data about 19,000 men in the age 35 to 74. They follow up them 6 to 10 years. And looking on the other side, we have physical calorie burning through physical activity. For daily activity, in the process of working, in the free time. And you can see when we growing up the physical activity, we have the line with the problems for the heart attack from the heart diseases going down. Between 2,000 and 3,000 calorie burning per week in physical activity, we have better situation. If we have more physical activity, that is not means that it will be better for the heart. They don't resolve the problem with the heart attack. You can see on the level of the 4,000 calorie per week, the problem with heart attacks also going up. We looking what is the best situation for our cardiorespiratory system. And World Health Organization 30 years ago recognized the problematic group, particularly vulnerable groups. You can see children, adolescents, all of us during the process of working have the stress, especially the people in the third age and the people which have chronic non-communicable diseases. Means hypertension, obesity, diabetes, osteoporosis. 30 years ago, the World Health Organization sent the open letter for the government and authority to try to resolve the situation, to organize the more physical activity and different sort of activity for the people, for the population, for the different sort of in the group, because they have we have a data that if we are rising up the level of physical activity and have that on the optimum, we can help the human body to be in good situation, not only good shape, good working position. We helping the metabolism, we help the bones, we have all our body to be in the better situation. And according to that, you can see when we're talking about the cardio system, we can resolve the problem on the many way. How you can read that data? What does it mean when we have stroke? What's happened with our heart when we could talk that somebody have a stroke?
Professor, can you repeat the question? Excuse me.
If someone have heart attack, what does it mean, heart attack? They have, what's happened with them?
Today, because of sedentary lifestyle, it's the most important for it. In Iran, the rate of mortality by cardiovascular disease for men is over than women, because
it is usual.
I think Yes. In my opinion, today, because of sedentary lifestyle and elder people and against younger people, then more stroke volume attacked.
Oh, it is okay. It's great thing. The problem is growing with the age. It's okay. But what's happened when somebody have heart attack? What's happened with them?
His core body temperature will be high than usual, and maybe he cannot speak. He has something. And what the sign, isn't it? Isn't that the question? Or what happened after the greater stroke?
When somebody have heart attack, what does it mean? What's really happened inside in the heart?
The blood. The blood. It's not going to go to the organ in a well, or and from organ to the heart. There's something missing in the blood.
Mm-hmm. And how physical activity can help to resolve that situation?
It's helped because it's helped the blood to take the real road. يعني,
how
it's
it works?
a sort of prevention, physical education, I mean.
I agree with you. It is some sort of prevention, but we try to explain how it's going, what's happened, and we have the better situation.
We have less fat, body fat, and so the situation it will be a little bit better for the heart, I think.
Well, if we have enough physical activity in good level, we can have the less fatness in the body. But when we're talking about the cardiovascular system, how did the fat go inside in the cardio system?
our oxygen will be better.
Okay,
yes.
but
So the blood will be fluidy.
Okay.
I think so.
Is that necessary to fatness be inside in the cardio, in the blood?
Doing exercise with nutrition is the most important factor for these people for prevention of attack of heart rate.
Mm-hmm. Because in our blood we have fatness, because fatness bring the energy. But the problem is, if we don't have enough physical activity, we produce the problem with the plaque. And when you have the plaque in the artery walls, it is the first phase of the problem, because the problem is growing. I try to say, no, we don't have that small slide that show how the problem is growing. Because when you have more plaque on artery walls, it means that it became smaller, and the pressure is rise. It is the first part of problem. The second part of problem, because if you have too much plaque, the artery walls lose elastic. Because when they lose elastic, it's possible to blow up. When we have blow up, it is the heart attack. And if we have enough physical activity, we prevent the problem with the plaque on artery walls. And it is the catch, it is the point. The people need physical activity to prevent the problem of the plaque in the artery walls, and to prevent the problem of the heart attack. And for us is the problem to find the measure of physical activity. Today we're talking about that, why it happened and what we can inspect. That data talk to us that in Finland have the more better situation nowadays than before 40 years ago when they start to trying to resolve the problem. They recognize the problem in the end of the 1669, and they established the program when the rising up the physical activity in the level of population. They invest a lot to change the habits, to stimulate to people to be more physical active, to growing the number of sports club, the number of the people which start to be more physical active. And according to that, you can see how the line is going down, decrease the problem of heart attack, because they invest a lot and permanent working on that practically 50 years to resolving the problem with physical inactivity and the nowadays way of living, problem with the cheap food, with junk food, and the knowledge is the most important thing. The people must have the knowledge and try to resolve the problem with the habits, because it is not so easy. And you can see how it's going in one experiment. One lady, she have more than 40 years, overweight lady, and have problem with the sugar in the blood, have the 8-week program. At the beginning, they measuring how it's going inside in the artery of the leg, femoral artery, and you can see the flow is going down because they have a lot of plaque on the artery. After 8 weeks on that leg, which be more activate in the 8 week, they resolve the problem. It's going practical in the good way. On the respiratory system, we can talking what's happened when we have enough physical activity. What is the difference between ordinary people and athlete people? You can see athlete people have better possibility and have better situation, and his respiratory system can uptake the oxygen on the level of the lung and take it oxygen and transport that to the all part of the body. The system is better working. When we're talking about the respiratory system, it's combined with cardiorespiratory system. On one way, we can take the oxygen and transport them. If we have quality respiratory system, it means it is better for maybe around 3 or 4%, if we counting think like a percentage from 15 to 80%. And the problem is because the people don't move enough and going to be fatter and fatter. You can see the problem in Louisiana, in USA, because they have more than quarter of population, more than 25% of the population have the body mass index bigger than 30, really overweight. But the real problem is because near to 30% of the new children, of the baby children, is born with the secondary diabetes, because they are children from the overweight parents. In the last 10 years in USA, they tried to resolve the problem with the overweight children, because it is the big number and rising up the number of the children with the overweight problem. And it is nowadays it is one of the problem in the one part of the world. In the part of the world, it's around 1.5 billion of the people have the similar problem. At the same time, We know, especially in Africa and in some area of Asia, you have a lot of people, near to 1 billion of people don't have enough food. They don't have problem with overweight. They don't have enough food. But it is our world, and we're talking about today about the biggest part of the world, which problem with physical inactivity. You can see the data. 10 years children old, and around 25 to 30% of the young of the children age 10 years have the problem with the overweight. And you can recognize it is the really they have, so some of that country have really good quality of the life. They have big standard, but according to that, you can recognize the problem. The parents don't think enough about the children. Too early give to them smartphone to looking, and when the children looking the smartphone and rising up with that rising like a problem, and it is the problem of civilization. And also you can see the data. Australia, Great Britain, and USA have the biggest problem with in population with overweight people. At the same time, in that country, you have the really good position of the sport, but it is a sport like only for looking. It is top level sport. They stimulate the people to looking the sport, not to practice the sport. And media take a lot of responsibility, because media try to making the money. They making the money when we looking the sport, but when we looking the sport, we don't practice the sport. And the problem with food and physical activity, they growing, because what we eat and what we do is all the time our personal decision. We can talking about that. Did we have enough area for exercise? Can we move? Can we walk? Did we have a time? Can we survive? But all the time it is personal decision what we really do, and according to that, the problem is growing. And we can talking about the next trying to explanation. It is the story about the two brothers, Stan and Klaus. Stan in that moment was have 45 years and more than 130 kilograms and body mass index 36. What can we inspect in his body? Can we inspect some sort of problems?
Overweight.
What the overweight can produce like a problem?
For example, also heart attack.
Mm-hmm. You have a right, but the Stan have a lot of enough physical activity. He practice the walking and running. They play some sort of soccer. They runs a half marathon, and according to that, on the testing, you can see the data. Body pressure 110 to 16, 36 milliliter per kilogram per minute. According to 45 years, it means that is in a solid situation. He don't have a problem because he is overweight, and we can expect some sort of problem. But because he have a lot of activity, he don't have a problem. Like his brother, on the first he's looking better because he have only 110 kilograms. The body mass index is 32, but he don't like any physical activity. He
working commercial part, and when he flying, when he go to the airport, he usually go with taxi. He don't like to came with the car, because when he go with the car, he must put the car on the parking and walking too long. He don't like to walking. He don't like to have any physical activity, and according to that, his physical ability is really less. 23 milliliter per kilogram. It means he can inspect the problem, because I hope that you have in memory that story about the process of Professor Cooper, which he said if some have the less than 28 millimeter of oxygen uptake and transport that in the long period, he can inspect the problem. And they talking about that story. I remember that in 2004 and 2005 in Belgrade was a big conference. They continue with explanation and give that slide. Klaus is pity, but he have the diabetes type 2 and hypertension and cancer colon. And it means the problem start because without physical activity, our metabolism don't have support, and you can expect some sort of problem. It is usually happen because our body try to adapt in any situation, but it is not possible to adapt on that situation without physical activity. And according to a lot of investigation, we can talking about the something is growing and something is happen when we have physical activity. What happened with insulin, with adiposities, with HDL, LDL, and the other part is recommendation. It is the oldest recommendation on the World Health Organization. They recommend 3 to 5 times per week, 20 to 60 minutes per day, and according to that 60 to 90% of the maximum heart rate. After 10 years, it means 2005, 2006, they give to us a new recommendation. They said minimum half hour of physical activity every day. And did you know how is looking the new one recommendation of the World Health Organization? What they recommend?
"20 minutes per day."
In which level of activity?
60-70% of the max.
Between 70 and 85, I think.
Usually it is, we can calculate like that, from 60 to 90%, and less to near to 90, it's usually submaximal, that is not so good. But we can talking 60, 75, 80%. But the new recommendation make the combination every day half hour physical activity and minimum 2 times per week to have some strong activity, vigorous activity, because we to touch our mechanism of adaptation. If without that, that is not enough to have 20 or 30 minutes of physical activity. Must be something stronger, must be some sort of exercise. We must touch our cardiorespiratory system and our muscle to be more physical active, and it is good prevention for physical activity. And you can look, when we growing the physical activity, growing the benefits. But when we going to the submaximal and maximal, more than 90% of the maximum, that can produce some sort of the risk. And a lot of that you can find in the classic competitive sport, in the top elite sport. A lot of problem can be when we
go of our maximum, but in top level sport, it means you must do that on that way if you want to win. If you don't like to win, you can finish with sport. It is the story of the sport. But we're talking about that. One of the problem, you can show the picture. On the first phase, it look, oh, it's a perfect young boy, a young man. But when we're talking about on the mental level, too many young people intend to be perfect, but they live alone. They don't communicate with other people. And if you are perfect without other people, it is possible, but that is not good way of direction. And on the other side, we can talking about how often we must to have physical activity to prevent to heart attack. They follow up 73,000 lady from the 50 to 80 years. They follow up study was more than 3 years, and during that period they have more than 300 new heart attack, some problem with the heart, and they said to make prevention for the heart attack, it's enough to exercise 3 or 4 times per week. That is not necessary to exercise every day, but we're talking about the prevention of heart attack. If you exercise more, you can expect more because the body is better working, especially we support our metabolism on that way. Some of recommendation try to recommend a lot of steps. Our smartphone also try to help us in counting how many steps we make, which distance we pass during the day, and give to them to us some smiles, support us to be more physical active. And according to the Czech Republic authors or Japan authors, they recommend 10 to 40,000 of steps per day. And it is that new recommendation of physical activity. And when you look in the list, you recognize that is not story only 30 minutes. We're talking about the burning the calories. Because if I have a running 1.5 miles, it means 2,400 meters for 50 minutes, it's enough. Or when I washing the windows or floors, it must be more time. Practically, we're talking about the burning the calories. And according to that, we can set minimum 150 calories per day. We can prevent and help our cardio system to be on the better way. If someone have more than 60 years, it means must be active minimum 1 hour per day. It can be 6 times 10 minutes. It can be 16 times 1 minute. But if the person have more than 60 years, must be more physical active. Not that we don't recommend to sit all day. And according to that, we recommend, it is our recommendation. We don't have the strict proof. We don't make the experiment according to that, but we said if you have more year, you need to invest more time in physical activity to help your body to be in a good shape. And according to that, I'm part of some project of the Erasmus Plus program where we incorporated a new recommendation of physical activity, which give the strict results about to that. I will send you that new slide. According to that, for the children, 60 minutes per day. For the elderly people, 150 minutes of physical activity during the week. And for the elderly people, more than 60 minutes of physical activity, and especially focus on improving the balance and supporting especially from the court. And we can talking about one old sentence that exercise can substitute or improve any medical treatment, but no medical can substitute the effect of the physical activity of the exercise. That is give to us Tissot 400 years ago, and it still work. It is the basic base of our investigation. And according to that, we can talking about the economic. When we invest €1 or $1 in promotion of physical activity, on that way we saving the $11 of public health system. It is the data from Canada, because they produced the program. You can see from the 81st to 1905, they increased the level of the percentage of the people which more be physical active, from 21 to 37 of the population, the growing up the physical activity. And according to that, they looking what's happened in the healthcare system, and they recognize that one active person saves the near to $400 of the healthcare system. And the last line, you can see the increasing the employment productivity from the factory and from the workplace. They give information that more physical active people is more productive, and you can calculate it for the money, because they work permanent, they work quality, he can produce more and don't make mistake, and have the better mood and very better in the contact with the other. And they give to the data 550 euro is safe. You can calculate practically when you put all of that near to 1,000 euro per year. It's the cost of productivity of that people. They save the money and they produce the more, and have more energy for the family when they came home and talking about with his family and all other. And also in Serbia, last 20 years, we counting a lot of campaign, national campaign for the healthy lifestyle, and also Ministry of Health give the more money, 10 times rising the funds for prevention in 2004 years, and also in EuroHealth group, they financing the project 4 years in Serbia, and try to help to us to increasing the number of physical activity, and to help the healthcare system to produce the new center for the healthy, to help to people which have some chronic non-communicable disease, to control that and to be more physical active, and supporting people to be more in better situation. I tried to go to the third presentation. Yes. Now we're talking about the testing, how we can testing someone, and it means when we try to testing someone, we must follow the protocols. If we don't make it on the proper way, we have a risk to have bad data. When we're talking about the testing of aerobic fitness, it means we motivate our people which testing to be correct during the test. At the same time, we must follow the rules. How we can do that?
when we're talking about the test on the bicycle, we must check the bicycle. We must have the data from the not only for the factory, from time to time. It means on the 3 months, on the 6 months, we must check and measure the data and give to us to give to us good results. Because if we don't check and testing, our machine can produce the problem. And also, when you give the data for the journal, you must explain. We use the bicycle on that standard, that name, that product, and the last calibration of that machine was on that data. It is one of the important data when you calibrate your machine. And also, you must put the sitting saddles on the good position. How we measure the level of sitting position? How we can adjust that?
We can move the sitting.
Yeah, we can move the sitting, but when we stop, we said, hey, that is correct. How we found the correct position for the sitting?
The back must be straight.
Okay. Sometimes we use the other position for the bicycle because that is not possible to go in the front because the trunk is too much or big stomach or some way. But how we adjust the level of the sitting? How we measure that? The leg must be extended, or
the angle of the leg with with the feet. I mean, like 90 grades when you go to bicycle. No.
If you have 19 degree, it will be too low. That is not good. The best position for the give the power is near to extend.
Okay.
And when you look in the good position, you put the pedal in the down position and put the last part of the feet, and leg must be in extend position. When you put in the front part of the leg, it will get the best position. It is important because they must make on the 60 time per minutes. It is the standard. If they make 55 and you make the test, that is not good. They don't lose enough energy for that. Or they make 65, that is not good because it is over position. It is too much. It must be 60 times per minute. And we're checking what happened with the heart, because during the protocol, they establish that Anderson and the group, they offer the 4 level of physical activity and testing how it's adapted our heart. It must be something between 70 and 85% of the maximum we're talking about. And you can see 60 turns per minute, the temperature must be between 15 and 25%, and the knee would be in the correct position. And for the beginning, we must warming up. And after that, we go on the first level. And it is really important and different from the classic 170 PVC test, because on a classic PVC test they give the power 2 per kilograms,
and for the lady 1.5 per kilograms. But you can see, according to the age and the gender and the level of physical activity, we can see how many watts we give them to make. For the you can see for the woman which is physical inactive, a young woman physical inactive, they start from 125, but active inactive sedentary lady more than 50 years, they start with 75 and on the final level have 125. It is the really big difference between inactive and active, and for us it's important to take care about the level of age, gender, and physical active and physical inactive person. According to that, they have that free level of physical activity, and on one level means 4 minutes of pedaling, and in the last minutes we measure what's happened with the heart rate, and after that we go on the new level and give to them 3 minutes to adaptate. When they came in steady state situation, we measure in the last minute. And finally, we have results. I want to discuss with you. What does it mean? We have the man, 34 years, his weight is 75, and he practically make 208 watts in that moment, and we measure 37.5 milliliter of oxygen uptake per kilogram per minute. What does it mean? How is his situation? Is that good or bad or really good? What can we measure that? It is the first problem because we want, when we want to set how the position is, we must looking in some table. Because on the table we looking for the lady, for the man, and according to the age, that level of oxygen uptake is somewhere. We need the table. That is not possible to say yes, it is perfect or no. And you can. We are not interested to calculate. We are only looking how it's look like, and finally we have results. And according to that, we can say in that age, it is not perfect. It is somewhere in the middle. It can be better. And the problem I want to talk with you and to advise you, whatever you do, whatever you test making, you have problem with the protocol and the problem with motivation of the subject. Because if the subject is not motivated, if they don't give the maximum, we have problem with explanation, because in testing we expect to give the maximum. I remember one way we have tasting some first level team in the first league in the football. After the first test, some squat and coordination, it's not possible to recognize did we have a problem. But when we measure the jumping from the place, or first 3 or 4 jump around 2 meters, and we stop the testing because they cheating. They don't give the full force. If I don't have the full force, everything is out of record. That is not good, because usually first league in soccer, football must jump more than
260 centimeter can be near to 300 centimeters because it is the first league. If he don't give to me his maximum, that is the problem of testing. What can we do with that result? Because we must motivate and calculate and looking, did we really have the maximum? If we don't have the maximum, we have problem with the testing. It is the same problem with the power, with the endurance, with any sort of subject. We must help to them to give the maximum. According to that, we can help to them and give the recommendation of physical activity. Do you have experience with shuttle run test, or somebody called it BB test?
No.
It is the similar logic. They offer the test for the group. It can work in the group of the people or group of subject. And at the same time, one of the problem is in the classic. Do you ever practice a classic Cooper test? 12 minutes or
Yes.
2,400 meters.
Yes.
Yes.
And when what we give instruction for the subject, what can they do or what they must do?
Some aerobic resistance, I think.
Okay. And did he give his maximum?
Only about the resistance, his maximum in resistance, like aerobic
Yes.
threshold.
We try to measure aerobic threshold and give to them instruction, try to make it on the best way, try to pass the longest distance. And if
Yes, so it's maximum fatigue, but it's not a maximum velocity, for example.
yes, yes, but where can be the problem? Because we expect to give the maximum, but he don't know where is the maximum. Because if you have inactive person which don't exercise last 6 months or last 2 years, he don't know what can they do, what they can do. And usually he can make mistake in the both way. He can be going less than maximum, and in the last few minutes he say, oh, I can be faster, but after 8 minutes of slow, he have 4 minutes fast, but he don't give the maximum. We don't have the good results. For that sort of test, you must have subject with experience, subject with practice that very often, and according, if he do that very often, he can give the maximum. He practically follow the test. On that way, that sort of test, BB test, give to us that is more easier for the subject. How it's look like? They have a distance of 20 meter. Distance can be 30, 40, 50 meter. Depends the distance. You have the same logic. Logic means after 1 minute, I must be faster. They give me the signal. They give me the beep. For every distance, I waiting for the beep to the start for the other side. 20 meter, 20 meter, 20 meter, 20 meter. After 1 minute, they give me information. You must be faster for half kilometer. Increase, accelerate. After 1 minute, they accelerate for the half kilometer, or in the other protocol, it will be after 2 minutes, you must accelerate 1 kilometer faster. And you try to follow the distance, whatever you want, you can. When you is not possible to follow the new accelerate, you give up. When you late free time, we put them out. And that is easy because you can work with group. It's possible to be 20 people, 20 subjects of the same time, and they follow each other.
if that is not possible to follow the rhythm, they stay and we calculate. They pass 4 stage and 5 level or 25 distance, and we looking on the stopwatch how many time he spent on the testing, and we looking on the table how it look like. It is the schematic. Usually it can be 22 minutes maximum. It means 21 time we accelerate and stay 1 minute on the same level and after that accelerate. I don't explain that last one. In one variant you can make it on the athletic stadium, 400 meter, and for the every 50 meter you put the stick, and practically you can have the 8 group, and you must have the judge on the every stick, and all of them follow what's happened. It means in one moment you have the big group, 50 people can tasting at the same time, and in that case you don't go in one direction and change direction. That way you go all the time on the same direction, but you must follow the instruction and hearing the beep on the proper place. And when you have results, if you stay 12 minutes, it means you have 30.5 kilometer, and you have the calorie intake according to 56 per minutes per kilogram. That is not so complicated to organize, and it is simple because you have the better situation for testing than the classic Cooper test, because when you have the people without experience. And it is the classic results for the males and for the females according to the distance you pass. And you can see usually how it's going in the table, and on each level how many distance you must pass and so on. Do you ever make Conconi test?
Yes, I tried once at university.
Mm-hmm. You can recognize for Conconi test you have the similar situation. Every round on the athletic court track you increase the speed. You usually start with the 10 kilometers, and in every round you're starting to be faster 1 kilometer. And in any time when you pass the start position, you give the information about the heart rate. And why we look Conconi test? What we have in the end of that test?
We have, in this case, the anaerobic threshold.
Yes, and you look in the graphic. In every round, we are looking what's happened with our heart rate, and in one moment when this start growing, the rise very fast, it means that we lose the possibility to use the oxygen like a basic energy. We go to anaerobic phase, and that point it's important for us, because when we organize the track or race or training, we know where is our zone, aerobic zone and anaerobic zone, and it's happened. In that case, you can see in 164 is that critical heart rate zone for that. And the third test we can practice, and they offer that in EUROFIT test battery. Walking test 2 kilometer.
Practically, that test is established in Finland, in Ukko Kekkonen Institute, and is the reason why they put that name, UKK, 2-kilometer walking test. You can find in the literature that they try to make it with 1-kilometer walking test, 1 mile walking test, or that 2-kilometer walking test. It is near to our story to measuring the oxygen uptake, and it is simply to organize, and we don't provocate the problem because the walking is ordinary activity. We reduce the problem of possible injury because when all the time when you have some sort of running, you depends from the how its track is clean or have some problem with the angles, and they offer to us a new measure. They offer to us fitness index because all the time when we have oxygen uptake, we must looking at the table where can we put in some category. Fitness index make like all other index. It means when we talking about some other ability when we try to measure intelligence, where is the middle of the index? What is the normal? Around 100 is the middle. Whatever you age or gender, it is the same because the index is calculating like a measure to be 100. 10 points less and 10 points more will be somewhere in the middle, and 20% down or 20% upper is the worse or better situation. It's not so complicated. It is cycle trends in the easy to adding, and according to protocol, temperature must be somewhere between 5 and 30 degrees. We give to them some sort of questionnaire. That picture is from our testing because we try to help the ordinary people to increase his ability, and we measure 2-kilometer walking test. After that, we advise them, your situation is somewhere there, and we advise you to be more physical active or to follow some sort of activity. Usually, they making some warming 5 to 10 minutes and walking minimum 200 meters because we want to check how it's work our equipment. Is that equipment take the heart rate, and for the people, for the subject, is important information is that a regular speed because it is the walking test. And what is your experience? Where is the board between walking and running when we're talking about the speed in kilometers?
The difference is the muscular activity.
Yes, but we're talking about we walking, and when we some authors call that transit speed, in which if we go 10 kilometers, is that usually speed for walking or is that usually speed for running?
For running.
If we walking 10 kilometers per hour, did we spend more energy than running or less energy than running?
More energy.
Yes, and it is important story when we're talking
for the
about
economic of the movement also, no?
Yes, when we walking, we must all the time be in the contact with the ground. If we have phase of flying, it means that you start running. That is not easy to walking
10, 11, 12 kilometers per hour. We spend a lot of energy, but sometimes when we're talking about the losing of the fatness, it's the better solution. It's better to be in the program of walking than in program of running, because when you're walking, you are all the time in the contact with the ground. It is the smallest possibility to make some problem, to hurt, and we spend a lot of energy, because when we try to resolve the problem with the fatness, we try to spend a lot of energy, but to have that speed, it means that sometimes you must invest a lot of time to rising up the ability of subject to take that speed and stay in that speed more than 10, 50, 20 minutes, 25, 1 hour, because on that way we help our body to resolve the problem with the overweight and so on. And you can see the elements: gender, age, body height, body weight, time for 2 kilometers, and heart rate in the end of the test. According to the mathematic procedure, they calculate how many times, some details have influence for final results. When we calculate for the male, it means we start from the fix. 420 is the fix, and we try to put the time on the minutes and multiply with index 11.6. Time in the seconds, it means time 50 minutes and 30 seconds. We calculate on that way. Heart rate, we multiply with index 0.56. Body mass index, we multiply with 2.6. And after that, we give the plus according to age. 0.2, we multiply our age, because we have situation that is possible that we have the same height, same weight, and the same speed and same heart rate. The only difference between subject is age, and we calculate age on that way. They prepare the second formula for the lady, and for the ladies you can see the different situation. Fixed start is 304. The difference is influence of the speed in minutes in the second. Heart rate is only 0.32. For the body mass index, it's multiplied with 1.1. It's the really different situation, but the age have more influence, because index is 0.4, in the male it was 0.2, and according to that you finally have some results, and we can see immediately looking where is some subject according to the results. And after that, also we can calculate the oxygen uptake on the classic way. Only we must change the results of the time. We multiply with index 465, but time must be in the decade system. It means 50 minutes and 30 seconds. When we transfer that in the decade system, will be 50 minutes point 50, because 30 seconds is half of the second. When we put in the decade system, it will be 50. And we calculate also the age and body mass index. For the lady, it is similar but different. And for us was interesting to compare our results and the results of the population of Sweden, because the Sweden norm population was interesting for us to calculate what's where we really are. We must be honest. As I said, we don't have population. We have data from our active people, because that results from the people which have 20, 30 years was our students, and that elderly people was the people which practice some sort of physical activity on the recreative level, because we collect them of the some promotive action on the some festival of the summer sport. On the festival of the summer sport, we have people which compete in the football, basketball, volleyball. It is practically active person. They go to the summer festival and compete for the team, and we have data for that. You can see the lady is all the time somewhere in a good situation, but the main situation is going down faster than to the lady. We for that data we have near to 800 subject, and the last slide is talking about comparing what's happened with fitness index and what happened with oxygen uptake. We put that bold data on one slide. You can see that our lady is practically in better situation than our male situation, and it is situation of the physical active male, because they're working in some company, they have some sort of activity, but they are not so good like we want to be. We are afraid that in situation is more worse, because it is the special group of the people which practice physical activity. And the last slide is from a table from our field. When we help to people, we organize tests, and we give to them some sort of recommendation. And it is our last presentation, and it will be task for you to make recommendation of physical activity according to the data. And I try to explain what we expect for you. We present a few different way of testing, and I give to us one small table in Excel. That table help you to make the recommendation of physical activity. In the first, in that blue side, we have the basic data. Age, you can see 33 years. It is the story about the lady which have 1.65 high. We put the measure in the meter, not in the centimeter, because the formula was making on that way. With the weight of the 60 kilogram, they pass 2 kilometers for 60 minutes and 48 seconds, and heart rate on the end was 132. When we look the heart rate percentage, it will be for that lady 70% of the heart rate maximum. It was the speed of the said 7.40 kilometers. Body mass index is correct, 22. Fitness index was correct, 180. It means somewhere in the middle. Oxygen uptake also, and according to that ability, we must give some sort of recommendation of physical activity, because what can we offer for that lady, first lady which practice aerobic? What we can recommend for her?
To do also something anaerobic.
Something aerobic or anaerobic, and because he's with the average results, he can increase his ability. Because he in the group from 90 to 110 is somewhere in the middle. It's average. But to increase the ability, we can offer the program of increasing the physical ability, and we can offer some sort of program of walking. It is originally walking program to increasing the ability, and according to that, she need 60 minutes and 48 seconds. It means they pass near to 9 minutes. No, 9 to 8 minutes and 30 seconds per kilometer. According to that, we can offer to them the short program of that. It is not necessary to pass all program because he is better than beginner. He can start somewhere from maybe 6 or 7 weeks to pass 3,200 meters for 28 minutes. Or maybe he can pass that on the better, maybe from the week number 9, 3,200 meters for 27 minutes and 30 seconds. Because she can pass that. In that situation, it is the same speed like on the test. And she, on that way, she practiced 20 aerobic points, and in the next 5 weeks, she can expect to go to the goals. The goals is to spend 30 aerobic points. It means to be ability to pass near 4,800 meters for 41 minutes. And when she have that ability, she will in good condition. And after that, we can offer to her program to preserve the good physical ability. She don't have problem. I will look in that. She don't have a problem with body mass index because that is 22. She have only problem with ability. To increase the ability, we can offer the program from 8 to 16 week. For her, it can start from the week number 9 and increase to have practice 5 times per week, some sort of program, and increasing the level of physical ability. And also, we have the other task to recommend the calorie intake. You can looking basal metabolism, BAME female calorie per 24 hours. Basal metabolism for that lady is 1,285 calorie. And what we can recommend for her, how many calorie intake per day when they have physical activity. If we recommend to pass 3 kilometers for and 200 meters, how many calories she burn for that 3 kilometers? I will try that in presentation. When we calculate the calorie burning, for our program, we give to pass 3 kilometers. For that 3 kilometers, she spend 1 calorie per kilometer per kilogram. She have around 60 kilograms, and for that
3 kilometers, she spent 180 calories. Can you calculate according to that data on the slides? The metabolism was near to 1,300 for female. For daily activity, they usually spend 150 calories for working on the job and sitting and some light activity. And for the program, they spend around 180 calories. And what we can recommend for that lady? How many calories to take today? We have basal metabolism near to 1,300 plus 150 calories for daily activity plus 180. It means it will be 1,060, 80 calories, because she don't have problem with overweight. If she have someone with overweight, we offer to them minus 10% because we recommend them to lose the weight and burning the fatness. If you have some other, we can talking about one other example. We have a man with 39 years, near to 1.8 high, weight 94 kilogram, body mass index 29 and 34. They need 20 minutes and 20 seconds for 2 kilometers, and the heart rate was 120, 65%. And what we can recommend from that, our friend Boro, Juro, not Boro. Did he have problem with overweight?
Yes, a little bit.
Yes, and according to that, it means that
Minus,
activity
10%.
for them must be intensive then on the test, or must be less activity. Did we increase the speed for them?
No.
Why?
Because it's better lower to work in aerobic situation.
Where is the fat burning zone?
In the 60-70% of fat rate.
55 to 65% of the maximum we calculated that is the fat burning zone. It means when we recommend the program for them, it can be the same speed or can be just a little slower, because to can use the fat like the source of the energy. And we can look in the next slide. Practically for them, we offer the long program of 16 weeks, or calculate can be 2 kilometers for 20 minutes and 30 seconds to be just a little slower. And you can see the mathematics from calorie intake. Practically from you have a task to make a test with the real people, which is more than 40 years, minimum 2 person, to put the details on the base. I will show you the base and I will send you that. And Your task is to prepare the program for that person, to recommend the calorie intake, and send to me. And we discuss about the recommendation. I will finish with presentation because the platform is not possible to use the two software at the same time. Did you see the base?
Yes.
Okay, it is active. Male and female, and according to what you have, you can put your data, and we can look how the system is working. I can set some Miroslav. It is the man, and he have tell me how old he is. It is model. How many years he have?
3 days at pet.
3 days at pet. Okay, he is high
1.70.
Okay, weight
75.
75. And they need how many minutes? We put 18 minutes.
18, okay.
And 5 seconds. And heart rate was?
Per second, low, I don't know, 120.
120.
No.
175.
Okay, we can put 125. And according to that, you can see we put the 6 initial data. You measure that on the field, and after that, the system gives to you all details. You know, you can see the percentage of the heart rate is the 66. He walking 6 kilometer and 6.6 kilometer per hour. Body mass index is just a little overweight. It is the yellow, and it is the first signal. It is some problem. I must talk about that. Think about that. Fitness is less than average because 79. Heart oxygen uptake is 36, or practically 37, and you can see body mass, basal metabolism for them is 1007, and then you can see when I put on that, you can see how we calculate that. It is the classic formula for basal metabolism. For the male we can we have that situation. We have initial data and plus, and calculate with the age, gender, and so on and so on. You can see the for basal body mass index, it is body weight through body height on the plus by plus. For the fitness index, it is formula 11.6 multiply with something. You have all formula inside, and you have the simple task to recommend. When you start to think about the recommendation, you can use that table from the Cooper, or you can recommend the program. Try to be not so complicated, because if you change a few things in the same time, it can be complicated to following for you and for other.
But so we have to add our people, I mean, in this table, in this Excel table.
Yes, I will send you that Excel document.
Okay.
To have to use that. When you finish, you give your name and you send me your data, and you send the document in the Word where you try to give the recommendation. Recommendation means to prepare a program of exercise for 1 month.
Okay,
And
but just for one person, this, no?
for you testing 2 person and send. Okay, it can be one.
No. You told us 2 people for testing, but just one for recommendation training.
Okay, it's possible. That is no problem. 2 people testing and give to them recommendation, and
Okay.
you will see when you if you have the realistic people, they starting to asking you. They asking you the simple question. According to that simple question, we can see how can be interesting for producing, and it can be a really nice job for you in the fitness club or to advise the people what can be physical active and what only to take care on the first way is that person or that subject have the problem with overweight. If they have problem with overweight, you must think about the fat burning zone. If you don't have problem with overweight, it's only increasing the physical ability. It is just a little easier, but you can control the situation. You're looking for subject.
Okay, perfect.
And if you have any question, please ask me. I like to discuss about that topic.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Have you any question more?
No, for today, personally, I don't have a question.
Okay,
My colleague.
I will stop the record, and you also can find the presentation like